Most people don't have a money problem, they have a direction problem. And that's why fixing your budget doesn't fix how your life feels. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to tell what your money is building and how to aim it on purpose instead of drifting. Think about your last month. You paid your bills, you saved something, you spent the rest. Nothing broke, nothing blew up. But what if someone stopped and asked you, what did your money actually build this month? Most people would pause. It's not about what you bought or what you skipped, but what actually moved your life forward. Budgets are about keeping things in line. Direction is about where things are going. You can be perfectly in control and still end up in the same exact place. If you don't give your money something specific to do, it will always default to the easiest job it can find, and that job is comfort. Here's the part that most people miss. Once comfort becomes the goal, it starts changing what you reach for next. We'll come back to what that does to your gains over time. Let me give you a real picture of this. Two people, same income, same rent, same starting point. One of them spends in ways that makes their life a little smoother. Better food, faster service, nicer upgrades. The other spends in ways that makes their life a little wider, a class, a move, a tool that lets them actually try something new. At first, they look almost identical. 6 months in, still pretty close. A couple of years later, they're definitely not. Not because one was better with money, but because their spending kept pointing them in different directions. That difference doesn't show up on a bank statement, it shows up in what each of them can say yes to later. And that's where savings start to play a very different role. Most people feel good about their savings, and they should, but this is what often happens. The money goes in, it sits there month after month, and nothing in their life changes because of it. Safety can protect you, but it can also make your world smaller. Because when most of your money is designed to keep things the same, you stop using it to make things different. Here's a simple way to check that. Ask yourself, what do I actually want this money to change for me? Not in an emergency, not in some distant future, in real life closer to now. If you don't have an answer, it's not really a tool. It's just a place where decisions go to rest. And when decisions rest long enough, they start showing up as goals. Let's look at what that actually turns into. Most people have a money goal, a number, a target. Here's the test. If I followed you around for a day, would I see anything you do differently because of that goal? Most of the time, the answer is no. And that's how you know the goal isn't really alive. It exists on a page, not in your day-to-day. A real money goal shows up in your calendar, in your search history, in what you do on a random Tuesday night. If nothing in your routine changes because of it, it's not a goal, it's a wish. And most wishes don't just fade, they usually turn into something you start paying for. And not in the good way. And that's where comfort comes back into the picture. Here's what people don't talk about. Once your life reaches a certain level, it starts to pull on everything else. Your job, your schedule, your stress, not because you love it, but because you have to maintain it. At that point, even good opportunities can feel risky because they might shake what you've built around staying comfortable. And this is the moment most people don't notice, when money stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like something they have to protect. Let's talk about how that shows up every month. Look around your life. Every subscription, every upgrade, every convenience. At first, it feels like you're improving things, but over time, something flips. Your money stops building what's next and starts protecting what's already there. You don't just own your expenses, you plan around them. If something costs you every month, it should start doing at least one real thing for you, saving you time, helping you get better at something. If it's not doing one of those things, it's probably still there just because it's familiar. And familiar is how things quietly become permanent. And what that really costs you isn't just money, it's wasted space. Let's talk about what that space could be actually used for. People think money creates happiness. It really doesn't. What it really creates is room. room in your schedule, room in your choices, room in your head. And here's the part that no one warns you about. If you don't already know what you want to build, the room doesn't feel exciting, it feels awkward. And that's why hitting a number doesn't land the same way people expect it to. You finally get the space, and then you realize you still have to decide what to do with it. And that decision doesn't stay theoretical, it starts shaping how you see yourself. Let's go one layer deeper. Here's a deeper layer most people miss. Your spending isn't just reacting to who you are, it's training you who to be. If most of your money goes towards staying comfortable, you start to see yourself as someone who needs things to stay comfortable. If most of your money goes towards learning, moving, or trying things, you start to see yourself as someone who can change. Over time, that shapes more than just your budget. It shapes how you make decisions. And once that identity starts to settle in, it becomes very hard to move without changing how you spend. Which brings us to the last piece. You don't need to redesign your whole life. You just need one decision at a time that makes next year different from this one. Once a month, pick one way to use your money that opens the door instead of just making the room nicer. A class that teaches you something new, a trip that changes how you see your options, a tool that lets you do work you couldn't do before, a conversation you wouldn't have had otherwise. Those choices don't feel dramatic, but a few months later, you start to notice the stack. And once you notice the stack, it becomes hard to go back to drifting. Here's how you lock that in. Do this today, not later. Write this at the top of a page. My money is building blank. Don't make it clever, don't make it impressive, just be honest with yourself. Then look at your last week of spending and circle anything that doesn't help that sentence become true. That's the gap, that's the direction. Lock in and make that change today. If this changed how you look at your money, don't stop there. I put a couple more videos at the end screen that go deeper into how small decisions quietly shape the life you end up with. Pick one and keep going. If this kind of thinking helps, subscribe. I post every week on how to use money as a tool, not just a number. That's your mindful moment, and as always, stay healthy